it gets real tricky, bro.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay. You about to say something, Jay?
No, something popped up on my screen.
Yeah, mine too. But yeah. So I don't know. When I'm looking at Egypt and I'm looking at the Sudan right here, I'm looking at Niger. Dog, you look at you. To me, it is clear. It is clear as a crystal that these 3, 4, 5 groups of people are not the same people, man. They just not. When I'm looking at Egypt, when you look at North Egypt and South Egypt, you could tell those are not the same people. They're just not. Yeah. These are a bunch of damn Arabs.
That's exactly what they are right now.
But the thing
I'm
is,
talking about now.
Before you go,
I agree with you on now. They are a bunch of Arabs. I definitely
agree. Go, Amir, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Now, if I put up a 23andMe and I came up 97%, whatever. Let's see what's on here. Ghanaian, right? If I was an Egyptian and my DNA is 97% Arab or Middle East, not Arab, Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the case for a litany of the people that's located right there. What am I to conclude?
Yeah, I mean,
those are Arabs.
We ain't talking about 60%, 55%, but we talking 97, 99%.
Yep. Yeah. But check this out. Let me ask Ngozi a question. I took my DNA test, right? Since and it says that I have 0% Arab in me.
Yeah.
0. So how is that possible if we all been mixing?
No. 23andMe and Ancestry, the autosomal DNA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do that.
Did you hear me? Yeah, did you hear me? 23andMe and Ancestry DNA autosomally, it only goes back 1,000 years. Your haplogroup is your deep ancestral lineage. Do me a favor, pull up your paternal marker and see what it says about why you and Ramesses III, when you and Ramesses III have the same paternal marker.
Because they say he share ancient. Him and Ramesses share an ancient paternal.
You can't denote that though. What you saying is lying.
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So that your paternal, your haplogroups, paternal Y chromosome don't recombine, so they can go back further with deep ancestral lineage, but that only makes up less than 1% of your DNA. But when it comes to your autosomal DNA, right? According to 23andMe, it only goes back 1,000 years. So all these North Africans, when they take a DNA test, that should be telling them that they're 90% North African Middle East. They call it MENA, Middle East North Africa. That's what they call it. And they have a genetic continuity between the Arabian Peninsula, Levant, and North Africa. So most of these Egyptians and Moroccan people, they're taking a DNA test, they get happy, and it says 90% North Africa. There's a distinction between the populations in south of the Sahara, which is sub-Saharan Africa. They have a genetic continuity that's been consistent up there for only 1,000 years based off what we have from the samples that's being used.
So they hold up, you just said, I don't understand if I'm tripping or something, but you're saying that the DNA from the people in North Africa has only been there 1,000 years.
No. The samples that's being used, the samples that's being used been consistent because it only goes back 1,000 years. So, but if you go back further in time, let's say people get their raw data, right, from 23andMe, and they put their DNA in GEDmatch, right, or GEDmatch, right? When they put it in GEDmatch, it breaks down the components of what's actually indigenous North African and what came from Anatolian farmers. So what I'm saying is that genetic, when you deal with genes, that's why I like what all of y'all say. We can't just really deal with genetics alone because that shit comes in segments. Because when the average Moroccan or Egyptian put his raw data in GEDmatch, it'll say 33% Ibero-Mauritian.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if this DNA test only go back 1,000 years, how did they match me up with Ramesses? Isn't that older than 1,000 years?
No, because that's your haplogroup. Haplogroups on DNA tests can go further because that's your deep ancestral lineage, and it doesn't recombine when they're using the principal cluster analysis.
Let's say that you're EV38. I think you're EV38, right?
Yeah, he EB38.
Yeah, I'm EB38.
Right, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, not your autosomal. Your haplogroups go further back in time, and they can give you a better postulation on that further back in time than your overall autosomal DNA or your DNA composition, which is your total DNA.
But you know, just to think about this, 1,000 years is a long ass time, and Ngozi, for me not to be having no zero Arab DNA. You know what I mean? But I got hold up, but check it out. But then I got some European DNA.
Yes,
see, I know how that happens.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, if this mixing was going on that long, I would have thought that I would have some type of Arab DNA.
No, the reason why you don't have any Arab DNA is because you come from populations from Western Central Africa. They don't have a large gene flow from North Africa or the early Middle East.
I mean, look at the map show you that.
Right, but hold on. But see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the evidence that we need to be talking about. So you're talking about way back in time. But if you look right now, if you go across the Sahara and you could draw a line, it's Arabs in those areas now, Mali, all the way to Morocco.
Yeah.
That's what Thunda talking about. So hold up. What I'm saying is that's evidence that Africa the line of particular species of Africans versus whatever these people you want to call them, it fluctuates based on time. Now we can use modern time like Mexico. They got beat down in Mexico at one time. But now I'm in Texas, bro. When I was young, we didn't see many Mexicans here in Texas. But now they have come back and taken over this land, procreation and coming back in proximity to the border.
They've been there.
No, this is what I'm telling you, Thunda. When I was young,
listen. I understand what you're saying.
There was not many Mexicans here, bro.
Listen. I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying the comeback is the part where you need to focus on that. Them two words, the comeback. You know that they was there.
No, they wasn't here. That's what I'm telling you,
bro.
They got the Mexican American.
I'm not talking about when you was a little kid, dog. I ain't talking about no 80s. I'm talking about damn 500-600 years ago. You know them Hispanic people. You know before pre-America.
Okay, yeah, they was here then. What I'm talking about is the Texas Mexican American War, where they beat them down and took over Texas. California, they took that from them, bro, and they made them
come back. Down. That's my point. But my point is, they took it from them. You saw they were there for
but listen to what I'm saying. When they did that, the people left and they migrated back south.
They migrated south after the Mexican.
So what I'm saying is that Kemet, it's the same thing applies. When war comes, motherfuckers ain't leaving their wife and their kids around. They going away from the danger. But this happens in all civilizations. I don't understand why we excluding some of the things that we know just by looking at nature and just going with certain scientific matters when you could just look at nature. If male lions are fighting, the women get out of fucking town and to the males thing. How do they know that?
Listen,
same thing with humans.
What you're doing is saying that Mexicans weren't in your neighborhood, so they weren't in Texas.
Bro, they wasn't nowhere around, bro. I'm telling you.
Nobody on this earth will believe that Texas was void of Mexicans at any point in life.
They had a very low population.
Nobody will say that.
Nobody. Where you from?
I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
See, it ain't no you the only thing you got bored and you was an ocean. So you don't know. But I know because I'm here in Texas. We got a border right here, bro. All right. And back long time ago.
Let me look up the Hispanic population of
California.
Texas.
Ask brothers on the coastline what they
look up the Hispanic population of Texas, the demographics. Bro, we ain't talking about now. Go back to when they had the Mexican American War and see just think you ain't gonna let your enemy stay in your territory. You're gonna kick their ass out. I don't trust you. This is common sense. No, you're gonna kick some of them out. You ain't gonna kick all of them out.
Yeah, but the majority, but that's what I'm saying. So they repopulated now. Bro, we coming from segregation. You gotta think, see, I don't know. Y'all don't be thinking about how modern day shit you can see and then apply that to ancient times. we can see stuff right now that's going on. I'm telling you, Mexicans was not here in the population that they are here now. And they wasn't a major factor. We had all the jobs, slavery. They didn't need no motherfucking Mexicans.
Yeah, ancient time ain't work like that. You know, Egypt was a pretty thriving place. So if that type of shit
I'm talking about
happen,
during war times,
but
flee areas.
Yeah, but when the war came in, you're talking about a small army, like they ain't bringing their wives. Them a small population of people. Just, you know what I mean? The people that mostly gonna flee gonna be the elites. Those are the people that's going to get out of town dip early. You know what I'm saying?
It's right here and what is that? Ukraine, the elites is just leaving. That's how it's leaving.
I'm saying now you're doing ancient shit with motherfucker with tanks and drones and all type of other shit.
Human behavior does not change, bro.
But that mechanism changed though, bro. That's what he's saying.
So you believe if I knew some danger was gonna happen, you don't think I'm gonna try to tell my wife and kids to get somewhere where it's safe if I gotta stay up here in battle? I'm gonna leave them right there in harm's way. Of course,
because you like to use America, for example. The only reason it didn't work with the Indians because they got sick and died from disease. But they didn't slaughter the goddamn population, they just died off. They keep them to work the shit because for one, you're in new territory, you got new land, you got new crops. Shit's written in different languages. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of shit that goes on. So they need those.
Google the Trail of Tears, bro. Google that. See how all that went down. That wasn't just no damn war. Same thing with Texas, dog. I mean, dog, the Hispanic population in Texas has always been. I mean, has it grown? Like maybe, but it ain't never been zero.
First-hand experience that they lying.
I'm with you, bro, but I'm just saying you're not gonna come on here and tell me that it was a zero population.
I didn't say zero.
Hispanic.
They had a minimal population.
What you call minimal? 2-3 million?
Bro. I don't know, but I know they wasn't a factor. They not here in Texas. I'm in North Texas. They were not a factor as far as the population here.
Where in North Texas? Yeah, maybe. What about South Texas? Exactly.
In southern Texas, they may be more than likely, based on mathematics and geographics, they would probably be more prominent down there. But I'm telling you, based on the line where the same place they trying to build that fence at, they wasn't trying to have too many Mexicans up here, bro. You got to think about the war that they had. I learned this shit in high school. They tell you about that shit. Santa Ana, Alamo, all that shit. I'm right here. We learned that history. They beat them up. Matter of fact, they beat them all the way down to the city of Mexico. That's how far they had took that territory, and they just relinquished that shit back to them and let them have where they wanted to fixate the border at. America had went all the way down to where Mexico City is right now.
I'll catch up y'all tomorrow for sure. Peace, y'all.
All right,
so that's what I'm saying, man. We got to recognize the fluctuation of borders. That's all I'm saying. Shit don't just stay the same.
No zero population.
I didn't say zero.
It wasn't insignificant like you trying to make it, bro. I'm not gonna believe.
I will look into this, and I would definitely. No, I'm not gonna be able to do it tonight. But when I look into it, and I try to bring some evidence so you can see. Because I don't like to just
show me where where the Hispanic population in Texas was less than 5 million. Or something. I mean,
the population of Texas was less than 5 million at one point. What are you talking about?
When was that?
Come on, bro.
When?
You don't know how long, man. This country hadn't been that populated. It hadn't been populated like that until recent time. Texas, they just conquered Texas. When did they get Texas? I would guarantee you. I don't like to ramble. So what I do is I'll go look up the information and I have it for you tomorrow. Let's do that. Because the population of Texas, it wasn't 5 million probably back in the early, whenever they took Texas. It might have just been at 5 million. If it was 5 million, I'd be surprised.
So 1848 is when the Mexican War ended.
Okay, and then what was the population in 1848? And that'll tell you. What is the population of Texas when it first formulated? That's all you have to do. And it's not going to be no 5 million.
I'm doing your work for you, so just relax.
See?
Nigga, I'm doing your work.
But this is history, though. Just like
I'm with you, but I'm doing. You said you was gonna do it, and you ain't doing it, so I'm doing it. Fine.
Okay, go ahead. Let me mute out and let's see what you come up with. What is the population?
Mexican population, Mexico. Well, I want to say Mexico population. Mexico populate. Well, how would
no, Texas, man.
Texas. I'm sorry, that's what it is.
Texas population in that year when the state first formed, when they first beat them back into Mexico.
1848.
What is the population of Texas in 1848?
Census. In 1777, the census was 3,000 people.
In Texas.
In Texas.
Bam. So there you have it, bro. See what I'm saying?
Hold on.
I don't understand. How old are you, bro? I mean, I'm 53, so maybe you just wasn't around.
I'm 43. No, I'm saying you're not finna. I understand what you're saying with North Texas. I know about North. That's UGK on them, but I know about North Texas.
No, UGK them from some South Texas. I'm from
not UGK.
Ain't nobody famous up here rapping besides the
DOC. No, the North Texas. Yeah. Hold on.
DOC is the only person that's famous that's rapping up here. And then you might have Mo 3 of recent.
Yeah, that's all it is. You too old. You don't know. You don't know about.
Yeah, you talking about Mo 3 or something. I'm talking about somebody that was famous that was rapping in North Texas.
What about Dallas, North Texas?
Yeah, Dallas is North Texas.
100% from Dallas.
I just told you the only person that really got national fame would be the DOC, and then you probably would have Mo 3. These kids that's rapping now, they got about the most fame out of all the rappers that's here today. So I mean, but all of the real rappers that we know are in South Texas and Houston, like the Ghetto Boys, UGK, all of that. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, I'm from Texas, bro. You can't tell me, I wouldn't even try to tell you about Alabama.
I would agree with you when you say North Texas. I'm with you on that.
No, but the whole of Texas, bro.
Not the whole. You're not finna.
You just read the census. What are you talking about?
No, I'm with that. I'm saying the border. That border. No, that's the official census. Those are U.S. residents. Those are U.S. citizens, dude. Come on. I'm not talking about U.S. citizens. I'm talking about.
So you gonna blow 3,000 up into 5 million? That's what you're gonna do?
I'm saying, bro.
This thing you saying you want to blow 3,000 up into 5 million?
I'm not doing that, but I'm saying you can't. I mean, come on, bro.
Bro, you just don't understand.
Be real. Okay, let me ask you this. Be real with yourself. And I want you to tell the whole truth. This is the perfect
example how y'all don't understand.
Listen. I want you to tell the truth. Do you believe that it was 3,000 people in that big ass state?
Bro, when I got here, it was like motherfucking damn near just had got done with dirt roads. What are you talking about?
I said 3,000 people.
Listen to what I'm telling you, Thunda. When I was born, we only had like 2-lane streets and shit, bro.
No, that ain't nothing to do with how many people.
If you look at where I'm at now, it's a fucking metropolitan. I watched this shit grow. But when I was born, shit was 2-lane streets and shit. Before I was born, motherfuckers, black people couldn't even marry white people.
I see Atlanta grow from about a little over.
I'm just saying, so I'm just giving you the context of history, right? Bro. So I agree is what we got.
But I'm not finna. You're not finna tell me that it was 3,000 people in damn Texas. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm gonna come back tomorrow, like I told you. And I'm gonna have more than just that evidence for you, because I'm telling you, bro, it was not many Mexicans here when I was born. Check it out. I didn't start seeing. Hold up, watch this, Thunda. I didn't.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How many miles is it from North Texas to the border? How many? How many miles is that?
I would say about.
Matter of fact, let me do that.
Hold up. I would say 500. I would say 500 to 600 miles from where I'm at. It's 500 to 600 miles.
What's the most southern city?
You could say like Laredo, Brownsville.
Okay, let's do Laredo, Texas to what? What's the north? Give me something real.
Well, if you want to go into the Panhandle, you can do Amarillo. Okay. But I'm right here in the DFW. I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Amarillo, Texas.
And then
so Laredo, Laredo to Amarillo, right? That's good?
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be about 600 miles.
Yeah, 600 miles.
Told you.
Right. So you get that. That's a lot of. So that's what I'm telling you, man. That's a lot.
What you mean?
That's a lot.
No, what I'm saying though, you got to think about this, Thunda. At the time, it was a war. They already had established that they didn't like these people. So they had a border. That border was the American border. That was the border that they put up. And they made their asses stay on that side of the border. And you know how motherfucking these Europeans was back then. You think they was going to treat them motherfuckers good on this side? They stayed their ass over there.
Fine. Let's go with Egypt, right? So how far do you think they drove them niggas? You said they drove all these black. They ain't drive nobody else but black people away. That's what you're saying?
Okay, now check this out.
Go ahead.
If you got two different type of human species, we do this right now today, just looking at a motherfucker, excuse my language. We looking at somebody, we gonna akin ourselves to what we look like. So that's a brother, right? When I see you, I'm looking at you right now, you're a brother. Now, but you can go into a place of, let me say, a Drake, right? And I might start questioning that shit, right? See, you know what Drake look like, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you go a little bit further, I'm gonna throw you out the car. You're not in this particular race, right? So everybody does this. So when they drew, now look at what they drew, Thunda. When they drew the different groups of people in the area, they akin themselves to the Nubian. They did not akin themselves to the Libyans that they drew and the other people in the Levant. This is at the time that they drew it. That's all I'm talking about. When I asked Ngozi, was he just talking about, the color variation? The color variation that we see now for just what we would consider African is the lightest we would say is the African people that we see in South Africa. And then the darkest we would say would be the people in the Sudan. Those are the people that we call sub-Saharan African. And that's the spectrum that we're using to say African. Anything that's lighter than what they are in South Africa and have a different phenotype outside of that, we call them non-African. We do that right now today.
You doing skin tone and
every species on this planet. The lion sees the leopard. He say, well, that motherfucker got spots. He not me.
I'm not tripping on that, but what I'm saying is when you look at, let's just say DJ Khaled, you think he's a black person, right? Everybody really think he's an Arab. Black. That nigga is from Iran somewhere.
Yeah, he's an Arab.
Yeah, the nigga is a clear Arab to me. So you're not finna sell me on him being black when I know that's an Arab.
He Palestinian. Yeah, he's Arab.
Palestinian, yeah. So you're not finna sell me on him. That's my point. So that's how now you make it my point. That's how I look at them.
Hey, brother Thunda, could you pull up people of Luxor? What you think about them people?
No, yeah, you went through that the last. Hold on, we could do that. Luxor.
But if you pull up some pictures of modern day people, you have to put that in context. Hold on, because that's not to say when you look at what the people drew, they didn't have a damn camera to take it like we got today. When they drew themselves more closely to the African.
But how do you know they had the right crayon, nigga? You don't know.
Because you can see them putting white on shit, red on shit, green. They got color. They got blue. They got all kinds of color. They probably could
get the right tint. You don't know that. All right. So here we go, Ngozi.
Look at those people of Luxor. That's what the Egyptians look like. They look like the people of Luxor. Look at them.
No, to me, I can pull up some Egyptians, bro, and these ain't these niggas here.
No, the one that's fairly white is the ones in the north, but the people in Luxor and the Gurner and the further south, they get darker.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah,
you type up Egypt.
See, that's the same thing as back then, but we don't know where the line.
But when you looking at the lion's share are not these people here.
Right. So here's the thing. Now, Thunda, now type up Egyptians of Alexandria. That's when it get tricky. But all of these people are Egyptians. But look at the people of Alexandria.
All those people are Egyptian, but we could tell. We know. Look at that. We could tell the lion share.
That's the
line. That's the lion share. When you look at them, that's Egypt right there. These niggas is Egyptian.
So you saying, hold up and go, let's be clear. You saying that these people these particular color people was dominating in the same fashion that they are now when the Hittites came in. This is what was the northern part was looking like this.
They weren't your skin color.
And that Delta, because they had so many mixing with the Near East for so long. I'm not talking about the Upper Egypt where you have Thebes and ancient Thebes and Memphite and all that. That's Upper Egypt. That's the first people I showed. But in that Delta, even in Narmer's time period, when you look at that symbol, that Jasper symbol, the supper pods, you had those type of people lingering around that northern part for a long time. Now, when you look at a lot of depictions in Thebes, you're looking at the people of Luxor that I showed. That's what Luxor is, near Thebes and Aswan and all that. Those are the ones, that's something totally different that was in that north. That north always has, even destruction of Black civilization talk about it. And a lot of those recent Egyptians are more closer to Turkish Ottomans than they are Arabs. Because if I tell my brother Thunda to look up the people of Socotra Island, they're Arabs too. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you're gonna see. That's a mass amount of people. All them niggas look like twins. Same Arab ass people.
Now hold up, you see how I just did that with the population of Texas? Imagine back 5,000 years ago.
There he go.
But
you're just making that up though.
I didn't make it up.
What you're doing is
it's
a hypothetical.
So you don't think that? So you think it was 7 billion people on the planet 5,000 years ago? That's what you tell them.
No, I'm saying that I believe that when you look at 100 million Egyptians that are alive and living in Egypt today, I'm saying that population had grown to 100 million, but it grew from 10,000 of them niggas. Look, I said 10,000 to 100 million right now. But it was still them. It was still them. That's what I'm saying. And I'll challenge you. Show me a mass migration of Black people out of Egypt. And then I'll shut up. At any point in time, show me a mass migration of Black people leaving Egypt.
Well, hold up. When they say that the Egyptians conquered the Nubians, where did the Nubians go? Did they just stay there, or did they leave the territory that they got right now and go south? The Nubians
right now make up, I think, 300,000. I think it's 300,000 Nubians there right now.
They got absorbed in. They got absorbed in, bro. These people don't disappear. They don't push out. They just get absorbed in.
Don't know why they right there.
They just got absorbed in. They blurred out. It's like the average Puerto Rican. The average Puerto, I'm gonna use them again. I gotta keep bringing them up. The average Puerto Rican, got 13 to 35% Taino Indian in them. The rest is Mediterranean, Spanish, and the other layers of Sub-Saharan African. So they just got absorbed in. They didn't go anywhere.
So let me ask you this, Ngozi. So do Nubians have the J marker?
Shit, the Nubian, if you look it up right now, Thunda can look this up right now. Northern Sudanese men have higher haplogroup J's than modern Egyptian men. And modern Egyptian men look way more olive Mediterranean than the average Northern Sudanese.
Yeah, but the skin color is going to be really dark, but they're going to look like the Ethiopians look today. That's what you're saying.
But see, that's why we can't base it off lookership, because just because.
But see, that market, I bet you that market doesn't go back that far, is what I'm saying. Those people didn't push.
Those Northern Sudanese got that ship in 641 AD when the Arabs came in. They screwed a lot of African women.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? See, you talking about when they came in. How far back does the market go?
Yeah, haplogroup J is about the market itself developed near the Caucasus. It's about 40,000 years
40,000 years ago.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about when it gets introduced off into the Horn of right there at the.
It comes into Africa at different time periods. You have the Neolithic phase when they come in the Neolithic phase. Some of them leak back in. Then you have the Bronze Age when they dominate the whole Western Levant and they start to pierce into Egypt. In the Bronze Age, when you start to find the Hyksos, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to complicate it up and go. I just want to know the earliest, the first time, the earliest time we get the J mark. That's all I'm interested in.
The earliest, some of them J markers came in at the earliest, probably around 7,000 years ago. Before it wasn't dominant. at the
J
early time period.
haplogroup. We ain't gotta do that. Let's go to the wiki of the J haplogroup.
Yeah, it's about 40,000 years old.
It's
It comes from
40,000.
No, Thunder, that ain't got nothing to do with
Oh,
it.
you
That's
saying
where it's
getting into
originated
where?
at. I'm talking about when it gets past the Levant.
It start to go into Egypt around the early Neolithic period with those Neolithic farmers, probably around 7th, but they wasn't dominant. It had some J, some T, and all types of shit. When they got there,
it was weak because see, and that's what I'm saying. So you're saying it was introduced as small, very small amounts.
Yeah,
because
right.
The population had to be very small on the planet at that time.
Right. So, but when they got there, EM78 was already lingering around the Nile. You know what I'm saying? So if Thunda look up Egyptians and he look at their modern Egyptians, he look up their paternal marker, E is still more dominant than J, but J is the second because J kept coming in phases. That shit came in the Neolithic period, smaller, comes in the Bronze Age, stronger. Then it comes in with the Arabs. Then it comes in with the Syrians. We got to remember.
It's coming in waves. I understand that.
And it keeps
believed
going.
to have evolved in Western Asia.
Yep. West Asia, and it is because the haplogroup I that the European people have, it splits from IJ.
Which,
and if you look at
which gonna bring me right back to what I was saying about it using these two land bridges to come over here, and they just migrated to the west.
Mm-hmm.
And you had some come over here, right here, So you could.
Okay, well, see where they say they started. Look at that. That means that at one point in time, that shit wasn't down in here. It got introduced later on. Well, see what I'm saying? And that now only thing we can argue is when and at what time period and how long did it take them to push that shit down. And that's the only thing you're arguing at this point.
So Thunda, look this up, Thunda. Look up haplogroup EV68. You can see what I'm trying to say. Those were the indigenous people of the Nile. EV68. Hopefully it comes up. There you go. Yeah. That's the indigenous Egyptian marker, EV68.
Also known as E1B1A.
No, not EV38. Yeah, that's EV68. Not EV38, which gave rise.
Yeah, that's what he got. He got EV68.
No, you said E1B1A. No, E1B1B1A.
That's right.
You see, that's 24,000.
Right, and that clade of E developed from EM35, which splits from early EM215.
EM35.
Right. So as it goes up towards from Ethiopia near the Red Sea, it goes up, mutates into EM35, then splits from EV68, and then you see its clades, which is EV12, and then the Somalis got EV32, and another layer is EV22. So that right there is the indigenous Northern Nile paternal marker that was there when those other groups of people came back in, and it's still the most dominant marker up there today. And they are modern Egyptian men, regardless of what they look like.
That's deep right there. Look at that right there. Early migration from the Middle East to Europe.
Yep, that clade of EV13, it crosses out of North Africa.
They're going northwest.
Yeah, yep. And that's what a lot of Albanian men have. Albanian and Greeks got EV13 at 25%. Albanians got it at like 30%. And they're split.
Origins. Yeah.
That's about it. That's about it, right? That's that one right there. That's rough right there, Jane. That's rough right there now. I ain't finna click on it. I want to say that. I want to get out with the unk. I'm gonna get out with the unk right there. Matter of fact, I want to click out.
So here's the thing, right now. Here's the thing, though. Right now, you see, EV68 give rise to that. You see that EM78. That EM78 is the Egyptian marker, right? Now, what I want you to look up now, Thunda, is Ibero-Marusians. Now go to their genetics, and you can see why the Sahara is so important.
But watch this, Ngozi. If you were to take a DNA of the modern population, would they be dominant with? You saying that they're dominant with E1B1A?
Who? Which ones?
The population that's there today. That's what their dominant marker is.
No, the modern Egyptians is EV68. They still EM12, EM78. Yeah, they are dominant still at a large percent. It's their mitochondrial DNA that's Eurasian highly. These dudes been screwing Near Eastern women and exchanging genes for thousands of years, bro. Again, if me and you, being African Americans, or Nuwak, New World African American Creole, as I call us, we bred with Mexican women, and our sons stay in Mexico for 60 years, and we got a set of black kids here. Don't you think they're gonna look different when they meet each other the generation 200 years later?
Yeah, one of them is gonna be fully Hispanic.
Exactly.
Besides, and then I have a small mark of my DNA.
So you got
Exactly.
Morocco, you got Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya.
See, and look at the marker. Look at what the haplogroups was. If you go further down, if you go down to their genetics, it should show you what their haplogroup was. Go to genetics, and look at that. That's the marker they had. See that? And that's the same consistent marker that's in modern Egypt today. That shit crazy.
Haplogroup N.
That's the mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA.
Oh, okay, yeah. The fossil directly late 15,000 years. Scientific all the males belong to E1B1B.
Yep.
Yes, so basically, like if I was just looking at it, like I said,
this is what Kyler was saying yesterday, the other day, Afro-Asiatic. What's your boy? Yeah. Your guy, Gullah. Gullah was bringing this out the other day.
Yeah, because Afro-Asiatic splits 16,000 years ago, according to Christopher Eric. But that's a proto-Afro-Asiatic. But as it goes north, you start to see this right here. But these dudes were already mixing with basal Eurasians, like mtDNA and U6. That shit came back in Africa 30,000 years ago.
The male specimen with sufficient nuclear DNA preservation belong to the paternal haplogroup E1B1B1A1.
Yep, which is EM78. That splits from EB68.
And that's the Egyptian.
Yeah, I'm totally lost on these particular terms.
Okay, we just saw. Okay, look, EM78, right? Let me go back.
You go to EB68. That's the same thing.
Yeah, because I got I got E something. What did I got? EB38.
Look, I'm showing you now. EM78. You just saw it. EM78 right there.
Yes.
Which is what the EB68, which is he's talking
about.
So
what difference this EB68 from EB30? Which one do I have?
We have EB38.
You got EB38.
Yeah. So what difference? What's the difference between the two?
EB38 and EB68. See, here's the thing. See, EB38 comes from which is E1B1A. It splits from E1B1, or what they know as EP2. So one becomes EM215, which is E1B1B, which give rise to EM35 from the E1B1B, and EM35 give rise to EB68, which give rise to EB12. You and me are not. So this is the thing. You and me not in that lane. Me and you are the EB38 of EP2, and from us we go from EB38 to E1B1A1, which is E1B1AM2, which later on give rise to our late subclades that's in tropical West and Central Africa. So we come from two different layers. Now, if you go back further in time, if you type up haplogroup E1B1, that's what gave rise to both of us. We split from one another probably 28,000 to 30,000 years ago. So we became our own.
You see where it originated now. So this is the mystery for me, Ngozi, and this is kind of where I'm studying only West Africa from now on. I don't give a shit about Egypt. I'm like a concrete core. Fuck Egypt. So I'm looking at how did Brother James and you, if this thing originated in the Horn of Africa, the Somali Peninsula. Okay, that's what it's called. It's called the Somali Peninsula right here.
Yeah, it developed in that Horn area. Yep.
Right there. Okay.
But remember, Thunda, the Somali is just a recent term for the area.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was trying to think of the name of that. I was like, there had to be a land bridge. I was like, it gotta be. There had to be a bridge right there. It's too close. So that's what it's called.
But notice that green don't go past that over that little peninsula that you're talking about.
So
I'm just throwing it out there like y'all say.
No, this the horn.
You're right, Thunda.
No, go ahead. No, I want you to continue.
Well, yeah, so the horn, I agree. The horn, but when you look at that J marker, it does.
Yeah, but so the J marker come later and dominate. it's a bottleneck on those people. Jay comes in later, but the actual markers that dominated, like if I tell you to go to the Natufians, right, and look at their paternal mark in the early Levant, before the Bronze Age of the Chalcolithic, they were all E. All these niggas with some type of E marker leaking out of North Africa, going into the Levant from that horn. It's a big circle.
This is what I was saying. So how James, you now,
and you too, you E1B1A2, right, Thunda?
Yeah, I'm talking about that EV38. I don't.
Yeah, you got that too. All of us are EV38.
Okay, cool. So look, when I'm looking at the EV, I'm looking at that. So did the slave trade come from the Ethiopia too? On the Ethiopian side,
no,
East Africa?
No. Our haplogroup originated in that area around 30,000 to 40,000 years ago, and then we migrated into West Africa.
That's my point. So now this could.
So hold on, stop right there.
Oh, James, stop. Hold on, James, stop. I already know what you finna do. So now, this is what. Now I got to get out the panel now. So I mean, that's you see what I was saying? Like, how the fuck it get from the east to the west? And
migration,
so now you got the migration, but you also got the possibility of these Egyptians migrating over here, migrating out of Egypt to the West Coast, and now you got all these people thinking they're Egyptians.
No, so no, this is where we get them at, though, Thunda. The Egyptians had another clade of E. Our clade and their E clade wasn't the same. And the reason why Ramesses III have the same clade of E that we have, which is EV38, because his people stayed in the cup east. We kept going west. So our subclades like E1B1A 7A, E1B1A 8A, those clades are late downstream mutations. So this is the thing. When it develops near the Red Sea or near the Horn of Africa, it goes north. It travels through the Sahel. As it travels through the Sahel, these are the people in the early Green Sahara. Later on, they start to go south in the last phase of the Holocene glacier period. They start to go south.
Just think about this, Thunda. A bomb hitting that area that you had green and dispersing out from there. That's a simple way you can put it. It disperses out from there. And then also think about this, Thunda. In those areas where you found the oldest fossils for human beings. Am I right, Ngozi?
No, that's Morocco.
Morocco, but then they just found the Hofmeyr skull. He's similar to, I mean, not Hofmeyr, but Florisbad's skull. He was similar to the one in Morocco. He was found in South Africa.
Yes,
I know about what you're talking about in West Africa. They just found that about 2 or 3 years ago. But prior to that, all of the things that they were saying was in that area.
Yes.
So they have a more collections in that area of older fossils.
Yeah, because when you have a full modern anatomically correct human with a rounded globular shape of the skull and not as flat with a thick brow, it's actually when we become modern, overall anatomically correct, not transitional or archaic Homo sapiens, but modern, it starts around the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia.
Right.
But yeah, that's EV38. That's what we
got.
It
says it's primarily, let me go since Thunda don't want to read it. It said is it primarily distributed in sub-Saharan Africa. EV38 was 2 basal branches from EM329, formerly E1B1C or E1B1, and EM2, formerly E33A and E1B1A.
Yeah.
So there's, but I bet you, watch this and go, that we did a map, that shit is gonna be traveling in all different directions. Have you ever thought about doing a map and showing how it's dispersing out from these particular?
Yeah, that's what my thing is. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Like West Africans are hybrid.
Map right there.
West Africans.
Right here, EM2.
Yeah, that's where it's green at. That's the map. But here's the thing, though. What I'm saying, guys, West Africans are hybrids. They have a part of them is Mesolithic ancient ghost populations, and some of it comes from those Saharians that brought the E there. Our paternal marker developed in the Horn of Africa a long time ago.
Well, and so it wasn't that long ago, because this is 39th. It wasn't about 2,000 or about 1,500 years.
But look, type this up now. The type of haplogroup E1B1, which is the father of the Egyptian E1B1B and our E1B1A.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's just constantly growing and growing off that E1B1. He's going E1B1A, E1B1C. See, there you go, right there. But if you, I was saying, do they have a map showing it developing in which way it goes?
No, don't go to EM2. Well, here we go. Go to E1B1.
Some of them got
No, there you go. Type up. You see ancestor EP2. Go to EP2. Right. Let's say ancestor.
Right there to the right.
Type up. Let's say ancestor.
Just click the link. Yeah, there it is.
You see that? Now look. That marker right there is what gave rise to it. Say descendants. EV38 and EM215. That marker right there to develop. Now, when you go to origins, read origin on there, it tells you where our great-great-grandfather split from, near the eastern part of Africa.
Yeah, East Africa.
Now, if you go to the Egyptians were mainly E1B1B. If you go to EM215,
hold on, but where the hell is the Middle East at? See how they throwing that shit in there?
Well, that they postulate because, well, when you go to origins, it tells you to develop East Africa.
It's paternal claim. Don't hate the science, nigga.
I just wanted to do the term Middle East. I wanted to know where that is.
You had some. It was
sour.
Thunda, your voice was sour when you read that, dog. Don't do that.
This don't got nothing to do with me. I'm EV38.
So this is what happened. It's talking about they did find a presence of E1B1 in the Middle East with those Natufians. Those Natufians was North African men. If you go to Natufian genetics, you can see them dudes had 2 CTs, 2 EM132s, and then they had the E1B11. That's why they found it in the Middle East, which showed that there was an African component in the late Pleistocene Levant.
So if we was to live another, say, 5,000 years, will you think these markers, you saying these markers are going to be in the same exact locations from now?
I mean, it's a lot of population turnovers. I mean, we got to understand rapid radiation. We have to also understand what's going on with us in North America. Like my E1B1A7A in the next 5,000 years may mutate to a subclade of E1B1A7A.2933. You know what I'm saying?
So what you saying is, does that kind of denote the whole thing then? Like, if you saying if it can change in 5,000 years now,
subclades
how do we based off, you know, based off, to tell what people was 5,000 years ago in that area?
Because the thing about haplogroups, especially SNPs, they don't recombine, so it takes time. So modern Africans, a lot of them have a genetic continuity that's been consistent, especially in that Nile area. But they have different clades of EM78, which is EV32, EV22, and EV12. Us, we only been in North America for 500 years. But according to the molecular clock, our clades of E1B1A, which is the sub-Saharan clades, or what they call in South, are late compared to the earlier E1B1As that was in the Green Sahara. So, you know, mutations don't stop in evolution. Selective pressures are always going to affect us as organisms. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, let me go ahead and let y'all have it. I'm finna go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going too, man. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, we at 2:30.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.